Shannon Schaible. She's speaker number 2, and her title is Public Transportation in Wilmington and the Voices of the People. Shannon will give you the first speech today from the evaluations and feedback portion of Pathways. She will give a 5 to 7 minute speech on the topic of her choice. In her speech, she will discuss Wilmington's local transportation system, WAVE, and the impact it has on the lives of our citizens in our community. Recently, Shannon had the opportunity to attend a WAVE public forum where many local residents spoke up about the impact the public transportation has on their lives. Hearing these stories inspires Shannon's speech today. Shannon,
What's your timing, Shannon?
5 to 7 minutes.
Raise your hand if you've ever used our local WAVE transportation system here in Wilmington. WAVE was created to develop and maintain an effective and efficient and safe form of public transportation here in order to meet the mobility needs of our community, especially in the growing state that our community is in right now. Wilmington is obviously a wonderful place to live. I was lucky enough to be able to attend a public forum here in Wilmington on public transportation here, on WAVE's public transportation system. Many citizens showed up to share their concerns and to voice their opinions on a weekday here at noon. There were lots of people there sharing their stories of their daily commutes to work and how it impacts them every single day to use our local transportation system. And they also were open enough to share their fears about what it would be like in their lives to not have a public transportation system here in Wilmington. A man shared with me that he walks nearly 45 minutes to reach his local bus station, but he has no other way to transport himself throughout the city. He has to use WAVE, and so he'll walk nearly 45 minutes just to get to his local bus station. A woman shared that she uses WAVE transportation to get to her job every day. And if she didn't have WAVE, she didn't know how she was going to get to work. She also shared that she has growing concerns about if our transportation were to be cut and what a reduction of services would do for herself, because she also works weekends. The consideration of cutting transportation on a weekend for her would mean that she couldn't make it to work, and that would result in her potentially losing her job. A woman shared that she uses WAVE transportation to visit her mother in the hospital and to visit a loved one who's incarcerated. She also shared that her daughter uses WAVE transportation to go to Cape Fear Community College. These are the stories of our community members who were brave enough to come to that transportation meeting, that public forum, on a weekday. And I couldn't help but think, as someone who was listening, that there has to be more stories of people out there that feel similarly. The fact is that if people try to use other forms of transportation, like, say, Uber or Lyft, the cost of that itself is incredibly high. It's about $2 to ride the WAVE transportation system here in Wilmington. So I can't help but think that without that transportation system, that would really impact a lot of people who couldn't use an alternative form. I think the realities outside of public transportation, in terms of the human needs that it meets, is it's an incredible way to have an environmental impact here in our community. If we encourage the use of public transportation and we fund those types of services and increase that infrastructure here in Wilmington, we can increase our economic viability as a community itself. We have the ability to conserve our natural resources and reduce the traffic that we have here in Wilmington, and increase our protection of the environment. I think about the times that I used WAVE here in Wilmington when I was a student and how much I valued that as a way to get to my classes and to and from my home. I think about the Wave trolley that I use downtown. I'm a downtown resident, and I get on the trolley to use the public library. It's a great way to avoid paying for a parking spot or avoiding parking fees. I'm privileged enough to have a vehicle, but I felt really lucky to hear the stories of people that would be really impacted by not having the Wave transportation system. I think about the future of Wave and what it would be like to have a city where we can all use Wave as an effective way to get to our day-to-day business, to go to work, to and from the locations that we need to go to every single day in Wilmington. And I think it's something that we can do as a city here, and many people are doing it. This is not the first time that transportation has been implemented in the city, and it's very effective across the country and around the world. Wilmington is only going to continue to grow, and we must invest in public transportation and infrastructure that can meet those needs. But we have to do it in a modern and forward-thinking way. There are other places that are doing the same things. I'd also love to see Wilmington increase its walkability and the ability to ride bikes as an effective means of transportation here in Wilmington. But I challenge every one of you to take a ride, if you're not already a Wave rider, to take a ride on our local Wave transportation system this week. And don't just get on and off and try to figure out your destination. Make conversation with the folks around you. Hear their stories and why they're on the bus that day. Figure out your route around town that would fulfill your normal daily routine. Could you use the current Wave system as a way to get to and from your destinations every day? And if you don't rely on Wave, put yourself in the shoes of the folks that are right here in our community that do. What would their lives be like without it?